So, hey, everyone, Richard Carlton. Welcome to another awesome day of FileMaker training at fmtrain.tv. At this time slot, Monday through Friday, we are training on the Claris FileMaker platform, and there's always exciting things happening here. Very rarely do we have a boring day. Yesterday, I was actually out, and Todd was having fun with this, wrestling with the helicopter, and then, of course, the AI came on board, and he started asking it about it and said something about, Richard is the savior of all mankind, and thou shalt bow to me at all times. And I'm like, holy this is on live TV. So it's been exciting every day. Real quick on announcement wise, we got 2 more days of Todd. Todd had an outline that was optimistic about what we get through, and it's educational because almost everyone, even the people from Claris, when they start talking to end customers, reality comes home, and you find out how far you can really get through a conversation. We've invited Todd to come back. Todd is figuring out his schedule. Will let us know when he comes back. We will clear him a block of time. Cool. So, Margaret, we got our Nielsen ratings because Todd was very concerned that we had our Nielsen ratings. And what we had here is a notification that we were in the top slot. We had 3 viewers yesterday. A total of 3 people watched the show. And that's all Todd's fault for being so. No, we've actually been breaking records on the show. At least in terms of an ongoing stream, over in terms of live people, 350 plus live per day across YouTube, Twitch, and Discord. And once the recordings are being hit and posted right now, we get lots more traction on that. And that's because Todd is a great presenter. Wim DeCourt's a great presenter. The people who help us at Claris are great presenters, and people like to see that training because we really need it. Right? This AI stuff is. Whatever we think it is, it's not. And what I didn't realize before we started doing these live streams is how much work goes into getting the pig into the sausage factory and then making sure that you process the pig properly to get the AI sausage out the other end is a really, I don't know. It's an interesting process. It's brand new. And my biggest problem is trying to figure out how to quote it to a customer if they want it. Because I have a rule, never quote something to a customer you haven't built before or you have intimate knowledge with. And so then how do you quote this? I think that's my biggest problem, trying to figure that out. But Todd has been killing it on the live stream. We want to welcome and thank him for all of that. All right, moving along. Todd, are you ready to present awesomeness?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Let's see.
Oh, man.
I mean, I'm gonna have trouble topping yesterday when we showed that the AI machine out there knows exactly who Richard Carlton is and what kind of a person he is. And
I missed what was the hallucination? Go ahead.
The boisterous, loud nature of his laugh. They had it all down. It's perfect.
No, it was really funny. What level of hallucination did you have that set at on that mode?
I think I only had it set at 1, so it could be higher. Yeah, it could have been.
Oh no, hallucination level. All right, everyone. Well, the next time we're going to pick on Rick Kalman.
Yeah, we could do that. That could be fun.
That could be fun.
That could be fun. All right. So what I want to get into, I want to cover. So yesterday we talked about tool calls a little bit. We talked about using custom functions for tool calls. And today I want to continue that a little bit because part of turning turning that sausage maker is understanding what tool calls bring to the equation. And it's actually really important. It would be hard to get a lot of value out of AI in our space, building, database apps without tool calls. Tool calls are really the thing that make it powerful because they provide extra context to the model, so it has factual information to work with, and you can constrain it quite a bit by using tools. And that's, we talked a little bit yesterday about RAG versus training models to get better responses from models, but you can think of tool calls as another way to get better responses out of the model, another way to put guardrails up or guidelines up around the kinds of information that you want this thing to spit back at you. So it's pretty important. Tool calls are the name of the game. We're not going to get to MCP servers this week. There'll be more stuff on that coming. We'll come back and do another thing on it. Or I think we'll be hearing some noise about this out of Claris platform at some point. I know they're hard at work working on how to bring MCP servers to the platform. It's an obvious thing that we need. So we'll get to that. But really, again, with MCP servers, tools are still the thing, right? That's really what MCP servers are all about, is exposing tools to your chat machines and your models and your agents and all that stuff. So yesterday we talked about tools being custom functions. I want to mention that something I have not messed with yet, so I don't actually know how well these work, but I do want to point them out. If you look at the generate response from model script step help in the help.claris.com, you'll find a bunch of information here about the script step we've been looking
Do
at.
you want to share your
I
screen?
should share my screen, huh? That would be good.
Yes.
Rather than just chat about it. There we go. How's that?
There we go. That looks good to me.
Okay, so here we go. So in here, it tells you a whole bunch of things, tool definitions, and these two things are here. So apparently there are built-in tools besides custom functions that you can use. I have not tried to use these, so I don't actually know how well they work. But apparently this guy works the same as perform SQL query by natural language script step. But it's not clear to me how it gets the database schema into this, so I'm not exactly sure. But I did want to point these out, that these are other things that you can try to use, so you can configure your model to use these. And then here it gives you a little more information about it, about how they work. And so one of them will execute SQL on your database and give you back the results, and the other one will pull an image out of a container field using SQL, which is kind of cool. So these should be interesting to play around with. I have not, but I would be remiss to not point them out to you. So that's tool calls. Before we move on from custom functions and these built-in ones, do we have any? I forgot to ask if there are any questions hanging over from yesterday that we needed to get into before we get lost again in our AI.
Margaret, do you have any?
dreams.
Because there's none on Discord yet. So
I don't. I think we pretty much got most.
We got
of the
them all
questions.
yesterday. Okay,
I think
good.
so. Yeah.
Okay, if any folks have questions, please post them as a reminder. If you have the question, there's probably 500 other. I'd say 500 other people that probably have the question. That's probably a safe statement.
Okay. I have one. That's right.
Okay.
So I'm skimming through the old. I kept all of them. Looking through them all. Auto cache in the new model. Does it lower cost since the messages sent back would be cached?
So it doesn't. So the message, it depends on what part is your what part you're talking about, and this is really hidden from us, and something I'm trying to work with Claris on to try to expose more of these things. But when we use the script step, there's a whole bunch of options, right? And some of those options are going to be cached. Let's see, where are the options? They're up here somewhere. So instructions should be one of those that is cached when it gets to the model, but I'm not clear whether that's happening with the generate script steps, because I can't see what they're doing behind the scenes. So I'm just not sure. But in theory, that is correct. And so if you're working with like a TypeScript SDK or Python SDK that connects to these models, you'll get advice like, make sure your system prompt does not have any dynamic data in it, so that it can save you money by caching, by that being cached. So it's just not clear to me whether that's happening with the generate response, but in theory, that is part of what should be possible. If you want to go with the insert URL option, which you can do with all of these models, that will work in that case, but you don't get some of the nicer things that you get from generate when you do that. Groovy. So that was dealing with, we were looking at the AI model prices yesterday and going through some of that. And there's often model providers will have a different cost for cached tokens versus, brand new used for the first time tokens. So it'll be cheaper if you can do more caching. Groovy?
Okay.
Groovy.
Makes sense to me.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's get back into. So we're going to do now, we've got our our OpenAI custom function. What am I trying to do here? I'm not trying to do that. That is not what I'm. Oh, what did I do? I hit something I shouldn't hit. Well, looks like it didn't cause me any problems. So we're apparently all right. So down here in our tool definition, we have, this is what it looks like. It's a type function JSON object that has a bunch of stuff in it. The big ones to know about are get the name and the description. So this is how you prompt the AI. And then the parameters that it takes, right? And again, you're also prompting it with what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a string. So it's got parameters. It's a location type string, blah, 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 right? So we looked at this yesterday and we were able to show that if I ask for, and then manage custom functions, I've got to get weather thing. It doesn't really do much. So it's going to, let's do Boston, I think will be better here. So if the location is Boston, then do it. If it's not, then just give me 56 degrees, maybe tornadoes.
I love that. Great.
Right. So, so if I say get the weather in Boston, and we'll look up here in the response, and we've got agentic mode on, and we've got streaming mode on. We'll see our response stream into here, and we'll see our tool calls. I think they're actually, I may have, well, let's see what happens. So I may have, yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay. So the current weather in Boston is 76 degrees. So it called our custom function. And this is all review. We talked about this yesterday. In our tool calls, we get the, this is what the model sends back. It's got an ID, a function, the name, and the arguments. And so the generate response script it says, oh, I've got a custom function named get weather. So I'm going to call it. And I'm going to send another response back to the AI. So let's see, I think I've got a chart we maybe can, I don't have a chart for this one. Well, let's see. I don't think we need to go into it, but basically the generate script step itself, it executes that custom function, gets the response, sends it back to the model, and the model responds with the current temperature is in Boston. So the fun things are that you can do stuff like this. You can say, I'm going to be in Boston today all day. Check the weather in Boston and come up with a plan of things that I can do while I'm visiting. I've got the whole afternoon free. So we put that prompt in there, and then if we send that to the model, huh?
I'm good.
You're good.
Keep going.
So there it goes, right? Generates a plan.
Mm.
Start with a visit to the Boston Museum of Fine Arts, which is great. I've been there. It's a beautiful place. And to Boston, 56 degrees with the possibility of tornadoes. So it didn't take that into consideration when it made our plan here. I'm using ChatGPT 4.1 Mini, so I'm using a lighter version here of the models. But that's the idea, is that you can, that agentic response says, here's the results, and go back to the model and take the user prompt and generate a response, including the result from that tool call.
Got it. And if
Got
you
it?
don't have agentic, then it won't call the tools,
It will
correct?
not call the tools. That is right. That's absolutely right. So if we turn agentic off and we do our same thing, what do we think is going to happen?
It'll either make something up or it'll tell you it doesn't know the answer.
Let's see. It says nothing.
Oh, it straight up can't.
Well, what it says is, whoops, sorry. I know what happened there. Don't pay attention to this. Hang on. I forgot. I'm ahead of myself in my demo. I wanted to turn this on later. So hang on. Let me make a quick change to my script, and we'll come back to it. let's do that again. Get weather in Boston. We'll hit send. And so, oh, come on. I just did that. HTTP response. Oh, sorry. I flipped. We're on the wrong provider.
Oh,
Back here. As we said, OpenAI is really the only one that you can use tool calls with today.
got it. Okay.
And this is part of the reason. It just doesn't work. The other providers, custom, Anthropic, none of them work well with tool calling except OpenAI. And so, you can, what is the scroll? I'm scrolling back and forth, but there's a way that, where do you scroll and you get the records changed? That's what happened to me. I don't even know what the keyboard thing is, but
Oh, I know what
when
you're talking.
you
Yeah.
scroll left or right and it advances that. That's what happened. Anyway, so get weather. Here we go, and we've sent this prompt, and nothing. So here's what came back. Nothing came back in the response, and we just got an empty content message there, and we just got the tool calls. And so because agentic mode is off, our provider, our chat script that's running all this needs to handle the calls itself if you want to then do tool calling. And so the plan I know from Claris is that eventually you'll be able to turn agentic mode on and it will call scripts, but currently it can't. So if you want to call scripts, and I actually think scripts are the most flexible and powerful kind of tool, you're going to want to use scripts. So
that would be really amazing.
Huh?
Right? That would be amazing.
Yes,
right?
Tools that are scripts are really where the power, because you can be very constrained on a script, right?
Oh,
like
sure.
You can make a script that says just like hello. That's all it does, right? And return that back. And that could be your tool. And every time that tool gets called, it's going to return hello. So you can build a lot of custom logic into a script, right?
Wow.
And so that's why tools are really a good way to put those guardrails on, because you make the problem simpler for the model. You just say, figure out what tool to call and figure out what data to pass it. And then your custom script does deterministic code, right? It will do exactly what you write. And that's the thing. Like, I haven't talked about this too much, but maybe a brief aside on probabilistic versus deterministic. When you plug a model into the situation, when you do this generate, you are getting a probabilistic response, right? And the higher your temperature between 0 and 2, the more weird it's going to get, like the more crazy, right? So the more amount of creativity it's going to inject into the process, which means it's going to be, less and less narrowly defined the higher that number is. So that's probabilistic. So you're going to get results that are going to vary from call to call. So what you want to do is when you need something to go exactly this way and only this way every time, then you're going to want to use a tool. And then you just have the model decide what tool to use. And once it decides what tool, those tool calls are exactly deterministic. There's no variation in them. They're always going to do the same thing every time. That said, your tools can include another generate response in there. They can use a generate response. So each tool could have its own bit of creativity in it. But at the simplest case, it's just a FileMaker script, and it can, it can just say hi back, and you've got it. So that's probabilistic versus deterministic, and that's why tool calls are the most important thing to kind of remember about this. Is that's how you get things on the straight and narrow.
So yeah, if you want the most accurate information possible, you're going to want your AI to do a tool call, is what I'm understanding. Okay.
Right. So for example, let's say you want in your business system, you want to be able to say, give me my KPIs, my key performance indicators. You don't want the model to probably guess those, right? That might be very hard. But I mean, it may know your schema, it may know your database, but how does it know what you really care about? Now you could tell it, these are the things I care about, and maybe it'll get it right. Or you could have a tool called get KPIs. And then that's a script that goes and finds your latest sales and finds your, the total number of hours billable this month, and just returns those results. And then every time you mention KPIs, it's going to call those KPIs and it's going to get them to you exactly as you want them.
That's really nice because you have to fiddle a lot less with the elaborate prompt engineering to convince the
Yeah,
AI. You just tell
that's
the AI,
right.
go pick up the food from the block. Don't think on the way there.
Yes. Basically, you say whenever you hear in our tool description, whenever the user mentions KPIs, call the get KPIs tool. And then and that could be a FileMaker script that just does whatever it needs to do to get that. Right? Got it,
Very
Richard? I don't want to lose you back there.
No. I looked up deterministic versus probabilistic on the wiki just to see what they were saying about that. But yeah.
Yeah, one is like, it's probably going to be in this range, and the other one is absolutely going to be, right? It's deterministic. The code will
Yeah.
always produce the
Yeah.
same results. Given the same input, you're going to get the same results. That's deterministic.
Okay.
With any time you use AI, in the middle of that, you're going to get results that are probabilistic. They are going to be based on some probability, they're going to come up with something, right?
We have a clarification question. Agentic
Sure.
mode will take own decisions, and then generative mode needs human intervention.
Agentic mode in the Claris scenario here with these scripts basically means that it's going to make a decision whether it needs to go back to the model, and it will do that until it thinks it's answered the question.
Okay.
So it's kind of like an agent, which we really haven't even talked about yet, but that's what agentic mode is, agent behavior. What we're going to do now is we're going to write our script to behave like an agent. And this is super important because you might want agents for all kinds of things that have nothing to do with chat, or you might have a button that you press on a FileMaker layout that kicks off an agent script that looks at a bunch of records in your data, decides to make decisions based on what it sees, calls different tools based on what it finds, and does all that. So agents are a cool thing, and agents, this script step with generate on, with the agentic mode on, is basically an agent. It's getting toward, there's really not a hard line between agent, like kind of like life. Like there's not really a hard line between, or consciousness. There's not really a hard line between like what animals are conscious and what animals aren't. It's kind of a blur all the way down to like amoebas, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there, the lights go on and there's a consciousness. Kind of the same thing. Somewhere in this thing of deterministic versus agentic or non-deterministic or probabilistic, there's an agent in there, and it becomes an agent. And that's what it is.
It's
It
a little
has
more.
some agency, right? So that's agentic. So whenever you flip that bit onto agentic mode, that's what you're getting. You're
Okay,
getting, right?
we got two questions.
Yes.
So, to be clear, you can't call a script right now, right?
You can't call a script with agentic mode, but I'm going to show you right now how to call a script and do that, because I think scripts they're everybody's favorite FileMaker logic, right? Like how many really squirrely SQL statements to use to generate business logic? Not a lot, right?
No.
You're not going to do a lot of SQL. You're not going to write a custom function that does a lot of business logic. Some, maybe here or there, but it's not going to be your bread and butter. Your bread and butter for business logic is scripts, right?
Yes.
So that's what we want. We want scripts. So let's do that. Let's write a script that basically will take over for our get weather here. So our get weather custom function, I am going to instead write a script here called get custom get weather, and it's going to get arguments passed to it. And in this case, we have an argument, which is, let's get the location, which will come from arguments, right? JSON get element arguments, semicolon, the location. Catch me if I make typos out there.
Yep.
Yesterday, we made a couple of big boo-boos and nobody caught it. I was struggling for like 10 minutes. Okay, so now that's location. So now we can start to do, so in this case, we can do like if the location, like we can do pattern count. The location includes Boston. Right? We're just inventing some cheapo stuff here. We'll say, well, let's do set variation. Whoops. Let's do set. Let's do temperature. And we'll just say 72, and we'll say condition. And we'll say partly tornadoes.
We do try to avoid those.
Tornadoes.
It's
Or
a
we could do
uniquely
partly.
American affliction.
We could do partly. What was it? Sharknadoes. What was that movie?
That's a cult film for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And so that's Boston. And then we can do else if pattern count. Right. By doing pattern count here, I'm avoiding. Sometimes the model sends in the state name. I don't care. Right. So pattern count, the location. We'll do my town, which is Newbury Park. And we'll get these guys down here and we'll say, what's temperature here right now? Oh, it's 72. 81 here. 81. Condition is occasional mountain lions. And then we'll do a default, right? Let's do else. Temperature, let's do -10.
It's little frosties.
Mostly icicles. Mostly snowmen. Okay, here we go. And then we just want to make a result. So with our result, what we're going to do is we're just going to put this into, we're going to put that into a single JSON object, JSON set element. Temperature. Temperature. And this is a number. Boom. And then condition is our condition. And that's a string. We'll format that. Beautiful.
Excellent. We have a quick question related to
Sure.
formatting, actually. Do you know how the call from FileMaker to chat is formed?
From FileMaker to chat.
Like, are you asking what condition the prompt leaves FileMaker when it goes to an LLM? It is in JSON, right? I think.
I mean, in the behind the scenes, it's an HTTP request. But they are not logging that for us. So in any way that we can read, which is an issue I brought up with them, because there's issues, there's problems, and I can't tell what's wrong because I can't see how that's being formed. But the main, basically everything that you do with this script step can be done with insert from come on, type insert from URL, except streaming, except this guy down here and stream.
Got it.
Everything else can be done with insert from URL. Well, sorry, agentic mode does this looping thing, right? So insert from URL doesn't do that. So I guess we could say, there's a few other things. To save message history. So I lied. There's a few other things. Save message history we looked at yesterday. But most of these are just post requests. Post bodies that are added to a request and sent off via HTTP. But some of them aren't. Blah, blah, blah. So get rid of this guy. All right. So get weather. So this is going to be our tool call. This is going to be our
Mm-hmm.
tool. So now let's look at, I commented this out or turned it off. Let's take a look at how we do this. So most of this, here's where the parts that I added since yesterday it's this. We're going to look at actually what I did is all right, let me talk about what I did because I did a little more than I remembered. So what we want to do is we want to give the script this agentic looping behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is we added a loop to the top of this this is the LLM calls, right? We have 4 of them again because I want to, for this test file, I want to be able to just toggle a box for agentic mode on or off and have it, I can't, if everybody remembers, this doesn't have I can't just put a variable in here and have this go on and off. So I have to basically do 4 of these because there's 2, stream and agent mode, that are not, I can't just pass properties to.
Mm.
So I have to do an else if around it. Goofy. But it just made it easier for me to do all this testing rather than coming in and toggling these boxes on or off. I can just come over here and toggle these on or off, right?
Yep.
So that's that. So all of these 4 calls are really the same calls, just with these guys called differently.
Can you zoom in, Todd? Use the zoomy thing on the.
I can use the zoomy thing, which I just learned about.
Yeah, just do that a little bit. So if we scroll down, we can see these are the 4 right here. Right?
Yeah. So they're all the same. I've just parameterized or variabilized or conditionalized these 2 options, agentic mode and stream. That's all I'm doing there. If stream is on, both of these guys have stream on. And then if agentic mode is on, this has agentic mode on, this does not. So if we look at that, stream is on, agentic mode is off. That's all that's happening here. And then there's the other one. So what I did is I added a loop, and I make sure the AI tool calls is cleared at the top of the loop. And then I added a step so I could track the number of times it goes through here.
Got it.
So we're looping, and then I'm gathering the tool calls out of that field and putting it into a variable so I can handle it a little better. I can get a count of tools, and then I can say if agentic mode is off and count of tool calls, this should be greater than 0. We're going to do some stuff. And now the folding gets broken out here, so I got to go back to equals.
Back to normal mode.
Yeah, so now I can zoom back in. So now what I'm doing is I'm just parsing out each tool call, because you could get multiples. In this case, we're only going to get one because we only defined one, but you could get many. And so we're going to, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the tool calls back to messages so that when I go loop around again, the AI knows, oh, tool calls have been made. Good. And then I'm going to loop through each tool call. We're going to execute, perform script by name, tool name, which I parse out right here. Right? And I pass it the tool call arguments. Now, if you look back at our layout here, name, so function, name, get weather, function, name, arguments, arguments. Groovy?
Yes.
Okay, so then I think we might have a bug, but let's see. We'll see. I think I've thought of something to add here, but I think it's going to be okay. So then we go around, we go through all the tool calls. One other thing we do is we add the tool calls back to the messages, because again, as I loop around, I want to add, hey, we asked for tool calls, and here are the tool call results. And those get added as additional messages to the array. And then we send all that whole thing back with the original question back to the top of the loop. And we go through again.
Got it. Okay.
And all I'm doing is I'm only allowing it to go to 2 steps. I'm not, because I just wrote this and I don't know whether, I don't want it to loop infinitely on that generate, right? Because I'm just chewing up dollars as I do that.
Yeah,
So
that'd be fun.
you're going to want to do some kind of max step here, right? Like don't loop more than 5 times or something like that. I'm doing it at 2 because that's all I want to deal with right now.
Yeah, or
But you
else
get
the
the
loop will
idea.
eat all your tokens. Yeah, okay.
So basically, agent, so this section here, by looping, I have rebuilt agentic mode, but I've done it with calling a script.
Okay. Out of curiosity, would this fix the issue with the tool calls not working with anything other than OpenAI?
No,
Got it.
because the problem is not that. The problem is above stream. With the others, we don't get this back.
Oh,
It
okay.
just doesn't do it right. We
Got
don't
it.
get it back. We don't get the tool calls back.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
in a way that we can manage them. So it's not that. So there's 2 parts of tool calling. There's first, the model makes a choice and it could choose to call 1 or more tools.
Mm-hmm.
And it just gives you back basically this, an array of tool calls. Each one gets an ID, a type, a function with the name and the arguments.
Mm-hmm. That makes
Right?
sense. But now you can, but with your rebuilt agentic mode, you can now call scripts.
You can now call scripts.
Which is very cool.
So let's see how we do, shall we? So now if we go put this back in, wipe out our prompt and all this stuff. We've written a script. What do you think the chances are it works first time?
I
Better
think
than
it'll work
50%?
first time. Yeah, I think so.
You're optimistic.
I
I'll
like
give it-
being optimistic.
I give it 1 in 4.
Okay.
Let me be
The big moment.
optimistic.
Press the button.
Go.
Boom.
See,
It
that's
worked.
why I'm optimist. You're good at what you do, Todd. Of course I can be optimistic.
All right.
I
So
think,
just
I think there might be. It's not taking into the Sharknadoes in here, which is a bummer.
Which is, it's interesting that it gives you the tool response, but it doesn't actually take that into context when the
It should
LLM.
have, and actually does though, because it takes back to 72. It gets temperature, but it's not doing conditions. So, I mean, we could say, what about the conditions? Let's see what it does. Also, I'm not using a very good model, so that could be it. What about the weather conditions? Isn't that a problem?
It does mention
I have
enjoying
no
the
idea what
view
this is going to
safely.
do. I have no idea.
This ought to be good.
Partly Sharknadoes, which is not a typical weather. It sounds like a humorous or fictional. However, if we consider it as severe or unusual weather condition with potentially strong winds or storms, it would definitely be a problem for outdoor activities. Under such circumstances, it would be safest to focus on indoor activities. Right? So basically, it's like, dude, you're pulling my leg. Don't give me this partly Sharknadoes thing. Like,
can we go back just for a second and run
Sure.
through the sequence of events with the script in terms of when it goes out, when it comes back, and what it determines to stay? I mean, I understand it's our new term is our agentic mode in calling scripts, but somewhere just like sequentially, this happened, then this happened, and then
yeah. So let's take a look. And this is pretty simple. You could add more logic to decide whether you go around again. So first of all, we just put everything in a loop so that we have the option to come back, right?
Yep.
So then we generate a response, and then we get our tool calls, and they got wiped out in that turnaround, but you can see them here. We get this comes back, right?
Okay.
Then we start looping because we're not in agentic mode and we got one tool call back. So let's go loop. first thing it does is it adds this block back to the message so that
Okay.
it's there for the next time if necessary.
Okay.
Right? Then that's what that is doing. Then it's now going to go through each of those tool calls in the array, and it just parses out the name and the arguments. Right? So we've got our tool calls, right, which is just tool calls. Get the first one. So it starts with t equals 0. So it's an array. So getting the first one in the tool calls array, give me the tool call. So that's one tool call. And then I get the tool ID, the tool name, and the tool arguments. Maybe we should debug this. You want to debug it?
I think that
Let's
would
see it.
help.
Do
Yeah,
that.
let's debug.
We'll grab our little prompt because it's fun. And we'll turn on script debugger. And let's see, make sure we want to do, what do we want to stop it? We want to stop it. We'll stop it right here so we can see the choices it's going to make. Okay, so we'll do that. Bring this up over here. Whoops, I put this in the wrong place. This goes down here. All right, here we go. Kicking it off. Send.
Okay. So step.
We step in. We do our normal blah, 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 gathering everything up. We're going to generate our response, and we're going to stop right after that. So we'll go all the way through there.
So it's one pass at the AI. It's done one pass.
Done one pass at the AI.
Okay. Now move.
And if we look at our parameters,
Okay.
if we look at messages, it's already added, right? So this is the user prompt originally,
Mhm.
and it got back content role assistant, no content, because we need to add. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add back. We're going to add the tool calls back to that message. So we're going to get the tool call out. That's going to be our tool call message. That's it. So we're recreating that. Basically just packing it back up into a parameter, and then we're going to add it. This is a nice little one. Can I blow this up? I cannot. Rats. This is a nice, maybe I can do it over here though, can't I? Maybe.
Yeah.
You can add that as a feature request for Christian Schmitz.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
So right here, this is an interesting, but that won't work. So if you look at this little square bracket, let me blow it up one more. Square bracket, colon, square bracket. That's basically saying this. So it's messages is an array. That notation means the last element in the array. So all I'm doing is adding tool calls to the last element in the array. And so once I get to that, it's going to add it back. So that's a neat thing. So we'll go down here and we've added it back. So now if we look at messages, and let's blow this up a little bit. We can do that over here in my, whoops, not that. So now we added the tool calls back. Boom. Right. So now that's our message array so far. Okay.
Yes.
Next step. Now we're going to look at tools. So I get tool number 1. T is 0 because arrays are indexed at 0. Tool call. It's just going to be that first one. So parse that out. We can go tool ID. We get our tool ID.
Yes.
Tool name. We get our tool name, get weather. Tool arguments. We get our JSON parameter for the arguments.
Got it. Okay. You explained it and it made sense, but seeing it actually happen is helping it click.
So now we're going to call that script by its name and pass it the arguments. So now, right, we got the tool name, get weather. We got the arguments, right? So perform script by name, tool arguments. So now we're going to get a new script that's going to pop up. Boink, we're in our tools.
Ah.
Arguments, the location, right? It's all there.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yep.
The location, pattern count, Boston, temperature 72, partially Sharknadoes.
Yep.
Right? So we've got our conditions. Now, skip to the end. We got our result, package it all back up. And now when we hit this one, we're going to go back to our original script. It's checking for an error, which I'm actually not doing anything with here. I didn't finish, it looks like. We're going to get our tool call result, which is, where is our tool call result? Tool call result.
There it is.
Partly Sharknadoes, temperature 72. And we're going to make that into a message.
Mm-hmm. And then repackage it inside of the elements.
And then we're going to put it back into messages. And this time, we're going to use square bracket plus. So we're going to create a new message at the end of the messages array. And so if we look at the messages array right now, pull that out, devutils. Oh, come on. Devutils. Right? It still doesn't have the results.
Mm-hmm.
One more time after this next script step, we're going to add that result to messages. So if I pull messages out, there we go.
There it is. Awesome.
Okay.
That's extremely cool.
And this is important because this is what, when we go back around,
Mm-hmm.
this is the message format that OpenAI wants to be able to then decide probabilistically what to do with it, right?
Yes.
This part is deterministically because we wrote a FileMaker script that did it. Now it's going to go back around. It's going to take that deterministically determined information and generate some kind of response based on that.
There you go. Okay. That makes sense. That's very
And
cool.
so now we can just run this all the way out and get out of the way there, and it'll finish up with its stuff, and we get our messages like we did before. Okay?
Excellent.
Let me stop there. That's a lot. How are questions? How's everybody doing?
Are we alive, everybody? Are we floofing around? Do we understand what's happening? Someone confirming that you answered their earlier question, which is true. The first response I got was a GIF of someone's head exploding, cartoon-wise. So it makes, I mean, because essentially the steps are that you set up the JSON by yourself, and then you run the script, FileMaker script, and you take the deterministic answers inside the FileMaker script, and you reinsert it back into the JSON, and then you hand it over to the LLM, and it can process that because it recognizes that format.
That's right.
Roughly what's happened? Yeah. Okay.
That is roughly what's happened. Yep. And so this little script that we've written here is really an agent, and because two things make it an agent.
Mm-hmm.
One is that we don't have a lot of very smarts in our exit loop, like exit step if greater than 2.
Mm-hmm.
You could add something where you could go back to a model and say, given, here's everything you've done so far. Did you answer the question? And you could come up with you could use generate response to come up with a binary, true or false, very narrowly, like take a look at the history.
Mm-hmm.
Does your final response give a good answer to the question that the user asked?
Mm-hmm.
Or should we try again and just respond with 0 or 1?
And then that determines whether or not you exit the loop. That would be cool.
Right?
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, and this is actually, and so another thing that AIs are very good at is determining if they did a good job or not. They're actually really good at this.
Are they really? Okay.
They are. Yeah, because you're asking it to do something much simpler. You're basically saying, here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I came up with. Did I answer the question?
Got it.
Or can I improve it? Could I do better? and it actually can do a pretty good job. It could actually come up with, and you could say 0 or 1, try again, or you could say um, come up with the things that you think could be improved about your question, about your answer, and then send those lists of improvements back as another message. Send the whole thing through the agentic mode again, and it will actually try to address each of those things.
Huh. Okay, that's really cool. I would not have expected that. It
It can
makes
do
sense when
that.
you
It's actually
explain
pretty
it.
good at it. Yeah. So you can build, so this is a pretty simple agent. It's just saying that I use up all my steps. Do I have any tool calls left? If I have tool calls, keep going. If I don't have, if I have tool call, actually the logic of this agent basically is, uh, if I have tool calls left and I haven't used up my steps, go again. That's all. It's not adding any qualification to it, like, did I do a good job or anything like that. But you can definitely use generate response from model. Let's use a separate, completely different. You wouldn't use this one. You'd write another one down here where it's making a decision, like where it says exit loop if greater than 2. You do another generate here and basically say critique your response, come up with some improvements, and if there are any improvements, if there's more than 2 improvements, run it all the way back through again with your new thing, right? Do it. And so that would be a more sophisticated agent.
Okay, I think that makes sense. Alex, question from Alex. Wow. So this method would allow you to use FMAI servers.
Yes. Well, no, unfortunately, the problem again, the Claris AI server is a cut where you can use the generate response from with custom. You can use that, and you can use custom to connect to a Claris AI server. The problem is that today you can't. It will not support tool calling. So you can still use it to generate a text response, but it will not do tool calling. So that's the problem. That's the issue right now.
Because this method is just repacking a script into JSON array, so if they can't recognize a JSON array to begin with, then repackaging the script into a JSON array solves nothing in that respect.
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't. There's nothing that this doesn't fix the tool calling issue. Really, tool calling only works with OpenAI reliably today.
Got it.
Everything else will be massive hallucinations because it just doesn't follow the right format, at least as far as we can tell. So we've provided that feedback, and hopefully, I think they already knew it and they're working on it. I think, in fact, it might even say in here, like, I wonder if it says in here, like only OpenAI is the only one supported. Yeah, it actually says it'll work, but I don't think it will. Actually, these might work. I haven't tried. It says the tool provider logic. We have not been able to make this work, but I haven't tried these built-in ones. But so far, the problem is we don't get back a tool call results that makes any sense. So at least we have not been able to figure out how to make it work, and it appears to be just an underlying issue with custom. Custom itself is unable to put the tool calls in properly, so it's just not working. But it certainly should be. So it looks like it may be a bug or it may be just a known limitation. So I expect them to fix this in the next releases. In all their examples, they're using OpenAI. Yeah.
We have some questions. Could you ask to update all records if it couldn't because some are blocked, and then try again later until it's done?
So if your tool call was to update a record, is the question, right? Like,
yes.
You like create a record or update a record, like
and the record's locked.
You would do that, but that would not be that. You probably would just build that into, like, the way I would do that is my tool call. It would attempt to update the record, and if it wasn't able to, it would add it to a table in the database and try later with some other retry mechanism, like a perform script on server schedule to like, did anything not happen? Or loop a few times in that tool call. Like try to update the record, and then if it fails with a 301 record lock, pause 5 seconds and try again. Do that 3 times and then give up. Or like I said, put it into a table to like come back later and try it. If that makes so, that's like make a queue table where you people may have heard of this technique where you make a table in your FileMaker database that it would basically have the same tool name, the get weather,
Mm-hmm.
and it would have the arguments,
Mm-hmm.
and then it would say not done. And then on your FileMaker script in your FileMaker server, you'd have another script which basically checks for all records in that table that are not done. And well, yeah. And then if it finds any, loop through them and call them and try again, kind of thing. So that wouldn't be necessarily I wouldn't integrate that using the AI. I would integrate that with just a basic message queue, or try again, and have your server side script scheduler look for those things that aren't done every 5 minutes and just process them then, kind of thing. And then I would respond back to the AI here, like in your message, say, I was unable to update the record now, but it is queued to be updated later, kind of
So
thing.
it's been added to the queue. Got it. There was a brief discussion. Kalman mentioned that all new scripting techniques will come out of what was added AI-wise to FM 2025. There was a... Okay. That was a brief discussion on YouTube side. I think we're good. I think people are processing, because what you've done is very cool. But I don't have any other questions on it at the moment.
Okay. We have one more thing to cover with generate response, and maybe I can try to do it here real quick, and then we'll see whether it works, and if not, or we'll dig into it more tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there is an important one more thing to work with, which we can do right here. So in this case, we'll turn agentic mode back on, and we'll just use our custom function. Right, so in this case, it's just going to stream into this field. And we talked yesterday about if the field's not in the layout, it's just not going to work, right? It's going to fail, right? So that's pretty cool, but it does have this feature. This generate script has this great feature. Right here.
Yes.
Boom, right? So how can we use that is the question.
Is it like yesterday when you put the response directly into the web viewer so the Markdown showed really
That's what we're going to
cleanly?
do. Yeah, but
Okay.
we're going to do, no, actually we're going to do a little different.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we're going to do something similar like I did yesterday. I'm going to come over here to Claude, and I'm going to say, so the way this works, so this is just like a brief aside on perform JavaScript in WebViewer. That function, which has been in FileMaker now since FileMaker 19, allows you to put call a function inside a web viewer that's defined in JavaScript. And so what we want to do is write a function which is something like stream response, right? And that when we're going to have that function, when we call it from FileMaker, we're just going to have it write out into our Markdown renderer every time it gets a new
So you
part
can
of
make
that.
it look like it's streaming even though it's not technically have the streaming turned on? Is that what you're saying?
You still need streaming,
Okay.
but it's going to do it with Markdown, which is cooler. And also it would do it with like a chart or with like any other JavaScript, any other web viewer kind of thing, right?
Ooh, okay, that's really cool.
And what we can do is we can build on what we did yesterday and see if we can one-shot this into some HTML, which we can load in using our insert text. and see if we can make this all work just like that. I don't know. We'll give it a shot. So let's see. What do I want to say? I want to say generate a web page that uses a Markdown renderer to display Markdown on the page. You can use dependencies from a CDN, so we can load anything like any kind of Markdown libraries, any of the libraries that we need from a CDN inside a script tag. The Markdown itself will be populated by a process that's going to call a function on the window object in JavaScript. That function name will be stream Markdown. Every time that function gets called, the Markdown will get larger and larger as more of the generated Markdown is passed through to our web page. So write us an HTML page that handles all of those requirements. Do you have any questions? All right, let's see. And we're going to use Claude Opus 4 here because I wanted to think about the questions before it begins.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, do you have any questions before you begin? Oh, it's just going ahead and building it. Didn't even stop. Didn't even wait for me.
It did put a clarification, but then it said, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, I should have been more strict. Like, don't begin until I say so. So it's building it. All right. So while that's doing that, I'll prepare over here.
Mm-hmm.
We'll build us a Markdown renderer HTML. And that's going to do our insert text target $$ Markdown render HTML. Okay, so that's ready. Are we done here yet, Claude? Oop. So we got an error here. Oh, it's waiting for Markdown content. That's probably okay. Let's see if we review the code, what it says here. I wrote a bunch of stuff I didn't need. I don't need clear Markdown. Stream Markdown is right. Beautiful. It's just going to do that. Update display. That all looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks... It's one of those things we'll put it in and we'll see if it throws a fit.
Yep, exactly. And then we'll feed it back, right? So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to drop this in here. I'll click OK. We'll run that. So that'll store that in our global. So now we got our big giant HTML in here.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I want to do is get this bad boy off the screen and drop us a web viewer. And what we're going to do here is use a data:/URL/HTML, comma. So this lets us load HTML in by just doing our Markdown. I don't know what I called it. I can't use monkey bread here. Markdown renderer HTML.
I think that's what it was. Yeah, okay. You can blame me if that's incorrect.
I think we need we don't need that on because we're not going to call out in this case, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't need body, we don't need status message. Oh, that looks good. Blah blah blah. So let's see. Waiting for Markdown content. So far, so good. Now maybe. Oh no, we have to finish. So we have to do. So we're agentic streaming. So one of the one. So then, and it was, what was the name of it? It was streaming. What did Claude call it? Claude called it stream Markdown. So this is the function we got to call.
Okay.
And so what we're going to do is go into our chat here. We're going to go stream and agentic. So this is the one we got to update.
Okay.
Then we're going to go perform JavaScript in web viewer. We got to make sure we call object name web. Our function name is this. And the parameter is going to be our response. So we got to do one more thing here on this guy.
Okay.
Response. We got to also do, I think that's it to that guy.
We have to also go back and name the object, right?
We do, but we have to do one more thing, which is response has to be this guy now. So we're going to stream into the response variable.
Mm-hmm.
So we were streaming into that field. Now we're going to stream into the response variable. And then in the perform JavaScript and web viewer, every time, this is how this works. This is very cool. Every time a new chunk, a new stream hits that response, we're going to call this function. And then the last thing we have to do is make sure that our has an object name of web, right? Oops. All right. Okay. Here we go.
Let's send it. See what happens. It's processing.
It's going. It's doing something. It did not work.
Okay.
So let's see. We'll see what the errors are. And we might want to just table this until tomorrow. Let me take a quick look, see if I can see anything. I don't see any errors. That's good. So we can run it with debugger on and see. Let's see. Streaming
Mm-hmm.
and agentic mode is on. So that's definitely the branch it should hit.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got web, stream markdown, response. So one of the things we can do, and so how do we debug this? We'll take a quick look at this. And one of the reasons why I like doing this is because now I can go in here and I can add some simple JavaScript stream markdown. So if this function is getting called, right, we should be able to console log right here. Oh, you know what? This is not right. So this, I can tell this is wrong, but let's just see how, let's just see how far we get here. So we're going to do console log dot, and then we're going to do new markdown. It got a little bit of our generation wrong.
Did it rename the function halfway through?
No, it got that right. This is the part that's wrong. It's going to repeat itself.
I don't know if Markdown has to be spelled correctly there, or does that matter on the
Oh,
console log?
it's going to matter. The console
That
log.
is for sure. Thank you.
Okay.
But this does not need a plus or minus. It just needs that.
Okay.
I can tell. It didn't follow frankly, that's my instructions. Could have been better to get that to generate right. But if it's being called properly, we should be able to see in the console log here. This
You
guy, we
didn't.
should
I
see
don't think
that.
you saved it.
Oh no, did it? Are you sure? Did I miss it?
I meant, wouldn't you have to save the script or no? So it would process?
You're right. No, I saved that. That's all correct.
No,
Save.
you saved. I meant the script.
But I didn't run
itself.
it. I didn't run it. And I have to run it because we want that to get into our global variable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Clear. Prompt. Let's see what happens. We can watch it. We can watch our console here. See if
See
anything
what it's
shows
getting
up.
up to.
We can also do this with debugger, which is probably worth doing. Um, Send. Go down to our spot. Should be, we'll start right here. Um, okay. Stream, agentic. Okay. So let's see if we get an error here. No. Oh, there it goes. So you can see it. Oh, there it goes. It's working. It worked that time.
There we go.
So I don't know what blasted it away. We got something else in our script. It's not done yet. So it just streamed it in, and now maybe something else breaks it. Let's see. It looks like it's going to be fine. Yeah, it's finished. So maybe it was that one bug I corrected.
Huh. Well, there
Let's
you
watch
go.
it. Let's watch it do it. Let's do its thing here. We'll make slight adjustments. We'll bring this down here. We'll make this bigger and we'll make it grow. There it goes. Woohoo! Right? Looks nice. So that is perform JavaScript in Web Viewer with streaming. So that kind of closes. That is everything there is to know about generate response from model. That's all the stuff. We've covered it all. I thought we would get through that on day one. Instead, it took 4 days. But it's not because it's because these things are new and we need to learn and there's a lot of stuff to cover. So I don't know. I was just really being silly when I thought we'd get through this in 1 hour. It really takes 4 hours to get there. Actually, whatever it took, 5 or 6 hours to get through this stuff.
We're hitting more
Yeah.
like 6. But
But we covered every single thing. Well, I guess we did not like show anything with temperature and seed, there's a few more things that are probably worth knowing about.
Okay.
But we didn't get really into those, but we covered a pretty good run on generate response from model. I mean, there's just not a lot we left out.
No, I don't think
Certainly
so.
the stuff we left out is really maybe model specific and getting into the weeds, but we covered everything and it took us 4 days. So Yahoo.
Yeah, people saying worth the wait. It was a great demo. Love it.
So the other thing we could do here, like in our tool callings,
Mhm.
like we could say always respond in Markdown. So it would give us even better Markdown.
Ooh.
But that's one thing we could do. But that's nice. Markdown is a great way to display stuff. I'm just saying, it's really good. And you can tell your model to always respond with Markdown and then just, use Claude, chat yourself up a nice little Markdown renderer like we did right here live and boom, done.
There you go.
Thumbs up.
Looks perfect. It's a very pretty web viewer. Real quick about you explained what temperature was. What is seed?
Seed is a way to reduce if you give it the same prompt
Mm-hmm.
and you give it the same seed, you should get back the same answer or very close to the same answer.
Yes.
And so in terms of like AI models seed parameter, what does it do? I'm adding, what does it do? All right, we'll get an AI response here from Google. Yeah. It ensures that the same input produces the same output, making things more reproducible. So it's something you're probably going to want to mess with. And the way you pass that in, since it's not one of the options we
Mm-hmm.
have here, is you go into parameters. And in this case, I put parameters up top here. and you would do, JSON. You basically would put in JSON set parameter seed and then a value. It doesn't really matter what the value is.
Mm-hmm.
But if the value is the same, then you're going to get the same result.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. It allows you to have more reliable results if you're looking for that
Yeah,
kind of thing.
sometimes that's exactly what you want. So you want to include a seed. If you include a seed, it should give you a good standard result. And if you don't, it'll be much more random. So yeah, do a Google search.
As a side note, what happens if you don't include any prompt instructions here? Like if you removed "you are a helpful assistant," what would it?
I think you get an error.
Really? Okay,
It's required.
got it. Makes sense. Any other questions? A lot of people saying thank you, Todd and team, which is correct. We got someone saying it in all caps, which is excellent. Yeah, we answered the question about a seed. Someone else had the same question I did, is what is it? But they're on a 60-second delay, so they'll get their answer shortly. A lot of thank yous popping in. I don't see any other questions at the moment unless people are waiting until I say there's no questions and they spontaneously generate about 5, which is usually what happens. But I'm not going to keep you waiting here for it. So,
All right. Richard, how you feeling? How you doing?
I am good. I am talking to Claris right now about, because we need these kind of full strength capabilities, but also this gives the opportunity to Claris that they could create a layer of simplified AI. And I'm being very generalistic with my description, but if they could come up with a way of, okay, so the 4 days of training, right, is really, I mean, there's no shortcuts to being awesome. That being said, there needs to be kind of like a way for people who don't want to be super developers to, have some sort of benefit of AI without killing themselves. And I just don't know what that, but like add-ons, we talked about the add-on conversation.
Add-ons
right?
will be one way. I think, and again, the perform find by natural language is a pretty easy one. It doesn't take much to get there. But if you're going to do agents or chats or things like that, there's stuff to learn. There's just not really a way around it. It's like, we got this probabilistic engine in here now that does things and does things differently than we've ever had before. And so even understanding like what it's good for and what it's not good for is something you have to come to grips with.
Yeah.
And
And the only way to
I,
go ahead.
I don't know there's a way around that. I think that they can do some more work on this script step. This script step is a bit tough to understand and to manage. And I think there's more that could be done here. I know they're already planning new versions of it. So stay tuned for that. Because I think it's kind of just a tough script step to work with, and it's the error messages it gives are kind of hard. They don't pinpoint where you might have missed something. It just tells you like AI error 882, and you're like, well, I don't know what that is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there's some issues there that I think they could fix. I mean, as I think I mentioned earlier on, this script step changed pretty radically 2 weeks before they shipped. They changed it. So, and I think it's because they're working really hard on it. Like they're really trying to give like, what I just showed here with this agent in a script, this would be the advanced stuff, right?
Mhm.
This is
Yeah.
advanced.
Yeah.
Yes.
What they're hoping to do is to like have agentic mode work pretty well, like out of the box.
Mm.
And I think it will for many use cases. It's all you're going to need. You're going to need just flip on agentic mode, give it a couple scripts to call, and run it, and it's going to give you. It's going to solve some of those problems for you. Like maybe like I could think of something like uh, automatically send an email to all of people who bought something, who downloaded Starting Point
Okay.
yesterday, right? Like that's going to be a script you want to write. So how would you do that? You could do it by basically coming up with a script that says, okay, first thing I'm going to do is find all the records,
Mhm.
find everybody, because you've got it in your database, all the downloads.
Sure.
So make a script which is a tool call to find the email addresses for everybody in the database.
Okay.
Boom, tool call 1. So now I feed that to the model. It's going to find exactly those people. It's going to be able to parse out their names and their email addresses. And then you have another step, which is generate a nice email, that's like not a template, but like actually generated from scratch for each person based on maybe how many times they've downloaded stuff. Maybe you've got another tool which is like, how many times have they downloaded this thing? So then you can write an email, you can write a generate response that says, based on the fact that this customer has generated, they downloaded this 5 times, come up with a nice email saying, hey, I noticed you downloaded this like so many times, or hey, can we help you, or whatever, and have it just like craft that as though it was a human, like not a template, but rewriting a new email, giving it, boosting this temperature up, like, right? Be creative. Here's the name. Here's the number of times they've downloaded it, right? So write a nice email for that person, and then another tool call, which is send it.
Yeah.
And then that's just a thing that runs every night on your FileMaker server. Boom, right?
Yeah, that's interesting because we did some stuff called lead scoring, and I kind of learned this back in the day at Claris, because Claris back wasn't doing lead scoring, which would be like Larry the Marine downloads Starting Point, and then he signs up for a live stream, and then he complains to me, and so all these points, like positive points for downloading something, visiting a website, asking tech support questions, saying I hate Richard takes points away, and so you kind of start to feel, how much money he spent, right?
Yeah.
And if you could explain to the AI that that's a lead scoring thing, and the higher the number it is, the more valuable
nicer you should be to that email.
Yeah, don't be an ass. AI, don't be an ass, Larry the Marine, because he spent money with us, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now you're talking. Now you're starting to put it together. So by combining the creativity of like write a nice email, and it's not a template, so every person's going to get a different email, which is pretty cool, right? And combining that with the ability to call the tools it needs to figure out how many times they've downloaded, what their email address is, and the ability to send an email as another tool. Now you've got an agent which just runs every night, finds everybody, deals with it, just chugs along, and you break up. Sometimes the AI calls the tools, sometimes your script calls the tools and then calls the AI, right? Like you can plug these things in a way that that can be the right combination of creative and deterministic, and you get new results that you just couldn't do before. Right?
Yeah, well, or you had to hire someone to do it. So you either you hire this person to do this, or you pay the money to invest and train yourself to write the AI, or you hire Todd to do it, or you hire a FileMaker developer or whatever. And so potentially, it cuts because the AI, once you invest in it, theoretically should be able to do it cheaper and faster than a person does. I'm not trying to get rid of people out of the loop.
I mean, this is the reality of where we are. And
makes me sound like an boss. Yeah, fire those 5 people and let's use an AI, right? And I'm like, because I know how that sounds, right?
It does. I mean, it doesn't sound good. And like I've said a couple times, this AI wave is going to be disruptive, and there will be job losses. And I mean, that doesn't make anybody feel good about that. But it's also, I don't believe it can be stopped. You're not gonna. There's no. There's not. The countries are not going to all of a sudden outlaw AI and shut down all this stuff. It's not happening. So we have to learn to deal with it. And so, the approach that we're trying to take is, rather than getting rid of the people that are on our staff, how can we make them even more capable?
Yeah, historically, what always happens is that if someone says a 12-hour-a-day job and now they become 3 hours a day, or they get that person doesn't get released. That person gets trained and they get other jobs to do with an organization that the AI can't do. Right.
Right.
I've only seen twice ever in 35 years where someone got I'm being kind of flip with this, but got shot from a job because we automated their job out of existence and they were just let go. That's twice ever. It's pretty damn rare. Almost most employers, if they have good staff, will want to take that staff and repurpose them.
Now you could say that, like, I mean, for years we've been building systems that made it so that the companies didn't maybe have to hire as many people, right? So they're hiring less. That's happened since, I mean, I mean, the first
Dawn
FileMaker
of
system
time.
ever built did that,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah, yeah.
it slowed down the hiring because it was automating all these things. So this is just maybe the problem with this
It's a,
curve, it's going to happen pretty quickly, and it's going to be tough to adjust. I think what it will mean first is less hiring, I expect. And you know, I mean, we're already hearing anecdotally that at some of these larger companies, if you're a manager and you want to hire a new person to do a task, you have to prove it can't be done by AI first.
oh, shit, I had not heard that.
Yeah, that's a thing that's happening. We're seeing anecdotes of that. So it's real, and it's like it's a thing that we should have empathy. And also because, like, there's a non-zero chance that programmers aren't a thing that we need that's going to survive a decade. Like that's a non-zero chance. Like it's real. I don't know what the chance is, but I think at the rate these things are improving, and the rate the infrastructure improves, there's a non-zero chance of I'm not making it to retirement without losing my job. So I just think we got to do the best. My take on this and what my approach has been to learn, to spend as much time as I can learning. Luckily, my role at the company here is to basically learn this stuff. And learn it and disseminate it to the community, disseminate it to my team. So that's my job, is to learn this. It's more challenging if you already have a 9 to 5 job or a 10 to 5
Yeah.
job or whatever it is, 5 to 5 job, to learn this stuff. But I think the the best defense here is a good offense. Learn how to use this stuff. Learn how to automate yourself. Learn how to make
Mhm.
yourself more productive,
Oh yeah. No,
and
there's
learn how
always
to make your company more productive. And
yeah,
I think that to me, that's what I'm doing. And that's
yeah.
what our company's doing, is doing that approach. I don't think we can go back, stick our head in the sand and just go, no AI, no AI, no. I just don't
No,
think that's going to
no,
work.
no, no, no. That'll never work. Yeah, I
No.
like learning too. Yeah, I'm big on that. Um, yeah, all that shit behind me and that's all binders and binders and binders of stuff that I've written or I've had to learn that. So it's
Yeah, I mean, you went out and got a helicopter license. I know you've
uh,
done a lot of like firearms training and all that stuff too. All
mhm.
that's learning. I'm trying to learn the ukulele over there,
Yeah,
you know? Um, gotta
yeah,
keep
no,
learning.
yeah, no, yeah, and I love learning, and it keeps you young. People like because people go, Richard, you're getting old. I said, man, I don't feel old,
I
right?
don't either. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 58. I turned 58 in May. I do
Mm,
not feel 58. I
mm.
still feel like maybe I just became an adult. Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, with the gray on my beard, it's like I can't like pretend that I'm not a grown up anymore.
All
But
right,
I
so
don't. I still feel like I'm maybe in
so
my
you're going
mid
to be back
20s.
tomorrow, but you're
I'm
going to be
back
back tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Okay, so
Yeah.
real quick, so if I put my thumb here and I go up the thing here, see that column of that's all the since Christmas that I've had to learn since Christmas. Since
Yeah.
Christmas. I
Yeah.
mean, and then you wonder people like, Todd's talking about AI. I'm like, where do I fit that into my brain? I'm full. So yes, but if you're sitting around and you're not learning, please learn, right? And it will keep you young. You won't get Alzheimer's. You won't get dementia. You'll be brilliantly smart at 90. It'll be awesome.
That's what I hope, man. I'm gonna make 100.
There you go. Well, if you stay ripped and you play ukulele and you come on the live stream, that might be the determining factor between 80 and 90 is
Live
the
stream
live
for
stream.
sure.
Yeah. Oh,
Live
absolutely.
stream.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guarantee
Keeps me up.
people here live longer, happier lives. So tomorrow I'll be back.
So now
Right?
we'll be
Yes,
back,
yes.
and we're gonna take this another step. We're gonna look at proof chat.
Oh
Yes.
I'm gonna
yeah.
look at it. I'm gonna show you that. We're gonna
You're
do
not going to give
AMA.
it to us though, because we
I
can't have
can't
it
give
yet.
it to you yet.
Because you're
And
an
part of the problem is like I didn't realize the tool calls didn't work with all the only work with OpenAI. So I got to work around all these things. I got to make this thing smooth because Richard, I want to be able to deliver this in a format that somebody can go, I can write a FileMaker script. I can use AI. That's what I'm going for proof chat. It's a high bar, but I think we can get there, and we're going to do it one way or the other. And so when it's ready for that, when it's ready for, I can write a FileMaker script. I can use AI, and so therefore I can use AI in FileMaker. We will release it, and I'll
as
come back on the show and we'll show you how to do it into starting point.
as a reminder, you've got priority, so just let us know and we
I
will
will.
schedule you
And the other
in.
thing I want to come back and talk about is MCP servers. That is going to be a thing with the Claris platform, but it's also available out there right now, and you can use it with FileMaker. And it's another way in which you can plug AI, you can plug FileMaker into your AI system, and it's pretty cool. MCP servers are all very cool and something that we should be learning about. So
Okay. Well, we need more time for that. Margaret, coordinate with Todd on scheduling, please. Okay.
yeah,
Yes,
we'll get it figured out.
absolutely. We will figure it out. Thank you
Yep.
everybody for coming.
Yep,
Thank you, Todd,
So
for
tomorrow
doing
we'll
this.
look at proof chat. We'll do some questions and answers, and so bring your questions tomorrow. Bring all your questions, and I want to make sure we cover. We don't leave people wondering, like, why didn't he get to that, or why didn't he answer that? Let's get it all out there.
Because it's a secret. You're not allowed to know.
Sort it all out, everybody.
All right.